Have you ever wondered what Spider-Man does when he's not Spider-Man or hanging out with Mary Jane? Well, he hangs out with ex-convicts Boomerang, and they go to trivia night where basically Spider-Man gets to prove that he knows a lot about Spider-Man. Stick around and you'll find out exactly what I'm talking about, because this is a part of the new Spider-Man run written by Nick Spencer. And if you're wondering where you are on YouTube, well, this is the Complete Story series, where we take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. We then read them dramatically back to you. That's pretty much it. And if you're watching this right when I put it up, come check me out over on Twitch, twitch.tv/eligiblemonster. Enjoy the video. In our last video, we watched the return of Peter Parker, and, well, another Peter Parker after Spider-Man had his personality split in half in a freak accident. After that, though, Spider-Man's life went back to normal. He started dating Mary Jane again, he flew some three-headed sentinels, and Kingpin became mayor of New York. Okay, maybe it's not completely normal, but all we know now is that Spider-Man is trying to keep up with the rent, while Kraven the Hunter is up to some shady business. As Spider-Man lays on his couch enjoying some alone time with Mary Jane notices that something is off about Spider-Man, like he's distracted. He tells her it's not her, he just can't shake this weird feeling like they're being watched. His roommate, Fred Myers, aka the supervillain Boomerang, leans out from the doorway stating, "Haha, didn't see you there." Spider-Man goes on thinking, yeah, things are getting pretty weird. Not only is my roommate a bad guy, but that bad guy took something from Kingpin. One would think being a hero, I would just arrest him, but there's the problem. A little while back, Hydra took over the United States. It was during the Secret Empire event, guys. Boomerang took that opportunity to turn himself into a big mob boss. Well, while running the black streets and handing out favors, he helped out a few good guys who at the time were illegal freedom fighters. When Hydra was finally overthrown, Boomerang cashed in those debts to get himself a full pardon for every crime he had ever committed. Funny thing is though, even though Boomerang took something from the Kingpin is letting him off the hook. Anyway, back to the current times, Boomerang reaches out to Mary Jane and introduces himself, and is acting genuinely nice while doing chores. Which, if anyone knows Boomerang, him doing anything to help out is kind of sketchy. So in passing, Spider-Man tags him with a tracker and waits for him to leave. Later that night, Spider-Man puts on his costume, heading out while keeping a close eye on Boomerang, and finds him heading into an old abandoned warehouse. Spider-Man sneaks up to the window and looks in to find Boomerang, Shocker, and Speed Demon, all playing cards, not really doing anything bad. Spider-Man waits and more villains appear, but everyone is just sitting around having a good time, not getting into trouble. The next day, back at the apartment, Spider-Man talks with his other roommate, Randy, stating that he's not sure about having Boomerang with them. Randy says, you know, half of the Avengers used to be bad guys, right? Spider-Man tells him, that's besides the point. Boomerang is up to something, and I'm gonna find out what. It's only a matter of time before he goes back to a life of crime. He's already using all of our towels. Just then, Boomerang asks, did anyone say towels? Because the ones in the bathroom are getting kind of rank. If somebody wants to give me some quarters, then we could, Spider-Man stops him, telling him no. And then Boomerang asks, why does everyone look so down? Spider-Man says, well, we're just settling something. Boomerang throws his arm around Spider-Man, telling him, hey, I need you to come out with me tonight. There's something only you can do. A little while later in a dark alley, Spider-Man, out of costume, asks, why are we here? And why are you in your villain costume? Boomerang tells him it's fine. He needs to wear this. It's kind of a rule where they're going. Boomerang pushes open an unmarked door, and inside is a bar full of Spider-Man's villains. He looks around and thinks to himself that he knows what this is. This is the bar with no name. Some say it's as old as time and the devil himself founded it. Others say it started as a speakeasy during the Depression. Whatever the case, all he needs to know is that the worst of the worst come through here. One villain, a bald guy with a goatee inside of a dome-shaped helmet, walks up to Spider-Man asking who the hell is this, because he's dressed as Peter Parker. Soon everyone starts to surround the two of them, and Boomerang laughs, stating, relax, this is my buddy Pete, and he's definitely a supervillain. Spider-Man tries to push Boomerang's arm off of him, stating that no, he's not, and Boomerang says, see? You call me a liar? His special power is that he can make you believe anything he says. Elektra then charges herself up, stating that she never heard of this one. Boomerang must be running pretty low on friends these days. Just as Boomerang snaps back with an insult of his own, a loud voice calls out to everyone to hurry up and gather around. They're just about to start what they're all here for tonight, Spider-Man Trivia Night. The Answer walks out on stage, stating that he is joined by his lovely associate, the Living Brain. They have some serious cash prizes lined up tonight thanks to their sponsors at Kingsley Limited. So let's get those hands on those buzzers, people. Spider-Man stares around for a moment and says, you've got to be kidding me. And Boomerang asks, what? Having Spider-Man's personal photographer will help me take home the pot. And we won't have to pay rent for a few months, Pete. But while everyone is getting set up, Spider-Man overhears two villains talking quietly about a big job that is coming up involving hostages and even Basilisk. He thinks to himself that if he does stay, maybe he can get some intel and possibly stop whatever those two are planning. Answer grabs his card stating, "All right, first question. Last time no one got this, so let's see if we have better luck tonight. Which of Galactus' heralds did Spider-Man once defeat with his bare hands?" Somebody hits the buzzer, asking if it's Silver Surfer. The living brain clicks, going, "Incorrect." Spider-Man pushes his way through the crowd, smacking the button, yelling, "It was Firelord, and it was totally awesome." Answer then shouts, "Correct!" Our first point is on the board. As Spider-Man goes on answering questions about himself, Boomerang heads into the bathroom, answering his phone, asking who is it. The voice on the other side says that they are from the office of Mayor Fisk, and Mr. Fisk feels that he's been more than patient with him. They could hunt him down and arrest him and interrogate him, but they're coming to him in a professional. Boomerang stops them, stating, "Yeah, about that, bad call. Seeing as you haven't done anything, it's showing how desperate you are. So you can tell the Kingpin that his price just got doubled. Good day, sir." As Boomerang goes back into the bar, everyone begins to cheer and clap for Spider-Man's victory for setting a new bar record about knowing about himself. Meanwhile, over in Kingpin's office, he slams his fist down, shouting, "That's it. We have wasted far too much time with the carrot. It's time for the stick. Let everyone at that bar know that Wilson Fisk wants Fred Meyer's head on a plate. First one to deliver scores the prize." Back at the bar, everyone's phones begin to ping, and they slowly begin to gather around Spider-Man and Boomerang once again. In only a matter of minutes, Spider-Man and Boomerang find themselves huddled behind an overturned table being shot at, with Spider-Man shouting, "We criminals have a code, you said, Fred!" Boomerang says, "I can't really believe it either. The bar with no name is supposed to be sacred. Kingpin must have offered them something pretty sweet to break that code." Spider-Man dodges another bullet, asking, "Kingpin? As in Mayor of New York Kingpin." And Boomerang tells him, Yeah, just do me a favor and cover those ears. I'm about to get us out of here." He stands up, throwing a sonic boomerang through the crowd, sending out a high-pitched siren, briefly stunning everyone. He then jumps over the table, punching out one of the villains, taking his gun and tossing it to Spider-Man, stating, "It's just like Call of Duty Latveria. Point and shoot." Spider-Man sighs as he starts shooting, thinking, this is supposed to be a nice night out. The two begin to fight their way through the endless waves of villains, inching their way closer to the exit when suddenly, one blast tears through the crowds aimed right at Spider-Man. Boomerang yells to him to watch out, and he jumps in the way of the blast, taking the hit himself and falling to the ground. Spider-Man quickly runs over, calling out to him, and just as everyone begins to get close, he shouts for everyone, "Stop right there! The liar commands it!" He thinks that most of these people are superstitious. Maybe he can use that to get them out of here. He then says, "That's right. All of you heard what Boomerang said earlier about what I can do. I was going easy on you, but now you forced my hand. All of your weapons will backfire, and you will kill each other if you try and shoot. So saith the liar, Alakazam!" Everyone starts whispering, asking if he can really do that. No, but what if he could? White Rabbit grabs her gun, yelling, "He's bluffing!" But before she could fire, Boomerang says, "That's a good call. He is, but Boomerang isn't." He throws out a boomerang, and as it slides down at everyone's feet, they see a timer counting down. He jumps to his feet, grabbing Spider-Man, telling him, "Hang on!" And then a massive explosion goes off, throwing the two of them out of the bar. A short while later, while sitting at a dumpster in another alley, Spider-Man says he doesn't get it. If he had the bomberang, why didn't he just use it earlier? Boomerang sighs, stating that he just wanted to prove to him that he's finally changed. After almost pulling a Mufasa back there, they should be good now, right? Spider-Man tells him, "Actually, I know the truth. Me and Spider-Man still keep in touch, and I did follow you the other night to meet up with that knockoff Sinister Six crew you had." Boomerang looks, "Wait, what? Wait, you got it all wrong, Pete. Yeah, I went to meet up with them, but it's not what Spider-Man thinks he saw. All those guys are L&Ds that the Tinkerer made for me. Yeah, they were designed for combat, not companionship, but, you know, I was supposed to be their leader, and all I ever did was stab them in the back. I used them as pawns in my dumb attempt to... Heck, I don't even know what I was doing. When it was all over, I didn't have a single friend left, but really, who can blame them? Maybe it's too late for me." Spider-Man quietly stares for a moment and then says, Sundays, me and Randy go down to the Upright Citizens Brigade for some improv. It's worth the line." He hops off the dumpster and Boomerang takes off his mask, asking, "Are you serious, Pete?" Spider-Man says, "Weirdly enough, yeah. You did save my life, Fred." The two begin to walk home, and Boomerang says, "You're not going to regret this. Sunday I was going to rob a bank, but improv sounds fun too." As they leave, Spider-Man thinks to himself that he is probably going to regret this. But there's so many people who have given him second chances and forgave him. Maybe Boomerang could use one too. But at that exact same moment in Kingpin's offices, He slams his fist down, shouting, "No more second chances! I want Boomerang in our custody immediately. Bring him and his roommates in." His aides begin to scramble around, and just then a scratchy voice says, "Tut, tut, tut." Kingpin spins back, yelling, "Who's there? Show yourself!" The voice says, "Don't you recognize the voice? Then again, it has been a while." Just then, something hits Kingpin, and he says, "Oh God, get out, all of you!" The aides begin to ask what he's talking about, and Kingpin yells again to get out before it's too late. Before they can move, the aide's skin begins to be shredded apart, and a hooded man steps out of the shadows, stating, "And I thought that this kind of job would be fun." The long centipede wrapped around the hooded man begins to crawl onto the table, with Kingpin shouting, "You." And the man responds, "In the rotting flesh. Nice new office, moving up in the world anyway. You can go after Boomerang, but his roommate, strictly off limits." Kingpin asks why would he care, and the man says, "Who cares that I care? Those are the rules." Kingpin shouts, "How dare you? You come to my mansion, my city, and you make demands of me, you insolent little." But then a light turns on, revealing Kingpin's wife, Vanessa, laying on the ground. Kingpin kneels down to pick her up, and the hooded man says, "This part always gets me. She seemed like a nice lady, a bit of a drinker, but hey, I'm not here to judge." Kingpin tells the man, "I could have fixed this. I offered you everything, and yet..." The man says, "Yeah, well, I didn't want any of it. It must have been frustrating for someone like you, right? Kingpin of crime, mayor of New York City, all that power, completely worthless. Trying to put everything back together. It's just pathetic enough that I would allow it on one condition." Kingpin asks, "What's the condition?" And the hooded man says, "Come on, go on and do it." Kingpin slowly kneels down before the hooded man, and as the centipede slithers around him, the hooded man tells him, "That's right. I could easily tear you all asunder, but I won't, as long as you know who's really in charge here." Okay, not gonna lie, when I was reading this story, it really made me care about the character of Boomerang. I really didn't care about it at all, and when he first got put into the storyline, I was like, who cares about Boomerang? No one does, Nick Spencer. Why are you putting him in there? This is a terrible idea. Then we did trivia night, and I'm like, aw, poor Boomerang. I feel bad for him. So I want to know what you guys think about him reusing some of the superior foes of Spider-Man in his own books for Spider-Man, where he's going to bring in Boomerang and various other characters. Don't forget, you can find me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/elitablemonster, and I'll see you next time right here, guys, talking about your favorite comic books, movies, and video games.